Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Thank you all for coming here today. We're here to announce the filing of a lawsuit, hopefully to expedite the evacuation of American citizens and permanent residents who are currently trapped in Yemen. Our first speaker will be the Council on American-Islamic Relations National Executive Director Nihad Awad, who will give an overview of the situation. And then we'll have two other speakers and take questions. And after that, you'll be able to do one-on-one interviews if you so choose. So first, Nihad Awad with the Council on American-Islamic Relations. And if Nihad, if you could spell a name. Okay.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Nihad Awad, N-I-H-A-D-A-W-A-D, the National Executive Director of CAIR, the Council on American-Islamic Relations. Today, our coalition that consists of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, the Council on American-Islamic Relations, and Asian Americans Advancing Justice, Asian Law Caucus, we have filed today a lawsuit against Secretary of State John Kerry and Secretary of Defense Ashton seeking the government's action to evacuate American citizens trapped in Yemen. Since the airstrikes started against Yemen, we have urged our government to do all it could to evacuate American citizens and U.S. residents who are living in Yemen. We have received numerous requests from people who are stranded in Yemen seeking our help to communicate with the U.S. government. The response from the U.S. government so far has been that there are no plans to evacuate U.S. citizens and U.S. residents in Yemen. We honestly do not understand why the most powerful military in the world cannot evacuate its citizens from a combat zone like Yemen, while in fact so many countries have evacuated their citizens. For example, China has evacuated 225 citizens. Pakistan has evacuated 183 citizens. India has evacuated 1,800 of its citizens. Somalia has evacuated many of its citizens. Russia has evacuated many of its citizens. Turkey has evacuated 230 citizens. Jordan has evacuated 157 of its citizens. Algeria, 160 people were evacuated. So we can see that almost all countries who have citizens in Yemen made efforts and did evacuate their people. We know that in our culture, in American culture, that the U.S. military will not leave any soldier behind. So should our government should not leave any citizen behind. The purpose behind this lawsuit is to encourage our government to pay attention to its citizens and do all means possible to provide safety. And I will allow my colleague Jennifer and Abid to explain more about details of this lawsuit. Thank you very much.
So our next speaker will be CAIR staff attorney Jennifer Wicks, who is one of the attorneys filing the lawsuit. You can spell it.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer, J-E-N-I-F-E-R, Wicks, W-I-C-K-S, and I'm the Litigation Director for Civil Rights at the Council on American-Islamic Relations. As you all may know, a coalition of groups, the Asian Law Caucus, ADC, and CAIR, joined together last week and have started a national campaign to try to get U.S. citizens and permanent legal residents of the United States that are stuck in Yemen back here to the United States. Late last week, we started the Stuck in Yemen website, and to date, we have well over 450 concerned citizens about their loved ones in Yemen or U.S. citizens in Yemen signing up on the website. And out of those, at this point, we filed early this morning with 41 plaintiffs. That includes people as young as just a couple weeks old, United States citizens that are stuck in Yemen. Families, entire families stuck in Yemen with children, elderly people, individuals, and there's families in the United States that have sought assistance from the State Department. These are people that have followed the State Department's directions even this week of possible ways to get out of Yemen, and it's not working. We implore, in our lawsuit, we're imploring the United States government to act. They have not acted where other countries have acted, and all we're asking for in our lawsuit, that they do what they did for U.S. personnel and the ambassador, in that they evacuated them out of Yemen back in February. There was no directive to citizens at that time, no evacuation efforts since then, and the situation, as laid out in the lawsuit, is just getting worse and worse. So all we're asking is that the United States government act like other countries have acted.
And finally, we'll hear from Abid Ayub, ADC Legal and Policy Director.
Thank you. My name is Abid, A, B as in boy, E, D as in David. Last name's Ayub, A-Y-O-U-B as in boy. And I'm the Legal and Policy Director of ADC, the American-Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. I want to thank CAIR, the Council on American-Islamic Relations. I want to thank AJC and the broad coalition we have in putting these efforts together. As my colleagues mentioned, over the past week, we put up a website, stuckinyemen.com, as an effort to reach out to the U.S. citizens that are currently in Yemen and get their information and make a push with State Department to help to get these individuals out. They are in dire need of assistance. There is no other way but to have the U.S. government, to have State Department and the Department of Defense use the military we have, use the resources we have in the region, and get these citizens home. They're American, they're just American as everybody else, and it's our duty, our obligation as a government, it's the obligation of State Department to do this and to get these U.S. citizens home. As Jennifer mentioned, the citizens that are there are broad and very diverse. We have citizens from across the country, from Buffalo, New York, all the way to San Francisco, California, and they range in age from a few weeks old, families, children who are missing school, and all the way up to elderly individuals who may have been, gone to Yemen over the past few weeks or past few months for a break or vacation to visit families. So it's imperative and it's of the utmost importance that the State Department take action, move forward, and begin bringing these U.S. citizens home. For far too long, we have been meeting with State Department, talking to State Department, making a push with State Department, but there's been no response. That's why we moved into the direction of taking legal action. There has been precedent, as has been mentioned, as mentioned in the lawsuit, there's been precedent of State Department evacuating U.S. citizens out of harm's way, out of war zones, and we hope that they are able to do this time around. There's no reason that these U.S. citizens that are currently there need to wait much longer to come home. We've had countries already get their citizens out, as has been mentioned. We have the State Department that's telling our U.S. citizens to contact other embassies. They contact these embassies, no response. They're unable to do anything. So again, you can't shift this responsibility, you can't shift this duty off to other embassies, off to other nations. It's the duty of the U.S. State Department and the Department of Defense to get out U.S. citizens, get them home safely soon. Thank you.